Hi, I'm Bob with American Patriot Guns and Ammo. We've been wanting to try to start something on YouTube to tell you a little bit more about our company so that more people out there will know a little bit about us, how we get started, who we are, why we exist, and what we're all about. That's what we're going to do today, is just kind of try to introduce you to American Patriot Guns and Ammo. It wasn't too long ago, just 2 years ago, that we didn't have anything like this. And we were on a venture to open up a shooting range. Never ever thought we would be looking at an opportunity to open up a shop to sell firearms. But we did work for 7 months on opening up a shooting range here in southeast Georgia, and everything looked like it was a go, and we had bought all kinds of ammo. We had bought all kinds of rental guns, and we were ready to open our shooting range after 7 months of preparation. Well, lo and behold, as many of y'all out there know, there are a lot of anti-gun people, and we were blocked in southeast Georgia, believe it or not, from opening up our shooting range. So to make the long story short, we took the rental guns, and we knew we had to sell them because we had dozens of them, and most of them were duplicates and triplicates, so we knew that we were going to have to get rid of them. My son asked me, he says, what are we going to do with all these? I says, we're going to sell them, but we're going to have to get a federal firearms license first, because honestly, my background has been law enforcement almost my entire adult life. So in order to make sure that I didn't get myself in a jam because I should have known, we went out and applied for our federal firearms license. At the time that we did this room that you're seeing here now was nothing more than a game room. We had a huge pool table that sat here and a jukebox over there. It was basically our party room. And so we had to kind of do a few transitions as we evolved. But when we started, we had guns sitting on our pool table. And people would come in and look at the guns that we had. And primarily our focus was just getting rid of what we'd collected and purchased to start the shooting range. But as time went on, people started asking us if we would be able to get other types of firearms. And not knowing, I said, well, I don't know. Let me check and we'll find out. And lo and behold, people started liking what we were doing. So seeing that God had placed some barriers in front of us for the shooting range, which I didn't identify at the time, we recognized that He was now opening another door for us, and that we should go on down that road and see what happened with it. So we did. I should mention that American Patriot Guns and Ammo is two things, first and foremost. First, we're a Christ-centered business. Without Christ, we wouldn't have this business. It would not exist whatsoever. And secondly, we're veteran-owned, and we believe in our military people. We believe in what they're doing. They do so much for us each and every day that we can't even begin to understand the sacrifices that they and their families make. So I'd like to recognize them first and foremost. As we move through here, I'd kind of like to introduce you also to some of our philosophy. Back when we started, my son asked what types of guns we were going to carry. And as you look out there at the different brands and the different manufacturers and the different models, you start to realize that, wow, in an area of about 1,300 square foot, you can't carry them all. So my son asked me what our philosophy was going to be. And for lack of anything planned, it's not like we'd sat down and come up with a formal business plan, because that hadn't happened, although it probably should have. We sat down and I said, look, I want our gun shop to be what I want if I walked into someone else's gun shop. We don't know if this is going to work. In fact, 3 months from now, 2 months from now, we may be broke. So every gun that we carry needs to be a gun that we would not mind putting into our own locker. And that's kind of the philosophy that we followed. And to do that, we've had to do several different things. First off, your mainstream local gun shops, brick and mortar if you will, primarily deal with a couple of distributors. In our business, because a lot of our things is web-based, we have to be more competitive than them. And so we started with 7 distributors. 7. And what my philosophy was is I was going to go out and find the very, very best prices I could. Find those that are buried on those distributors' websites, not the ones that are publicized so everybody else can see them, but to go out there, get those best deals, and then make a little bit rather than a lot. And that is what we've focused on since we began almost 2 years ago. Right now, we've got a very, very good relationship with most of our distributors, and we get some really, really fine guns in, some of which many of your local gun stores aren't even able to get. This one here, for example, is the CZ Evo Scorpion. A lot of you may have been looking for this thing. We've also put the adapter on it, and we've got the SIG brace on here to help stabilize your arm when you're shooting it. Right down below that, we've got the Springfield SOCOM 2 with the Voltar rails. Again, a very, very difficult firearm to get. We also carry the PS90, which is a really fine firearm. Armor piercing, 50 rounds, my wife's favorite gun. Over here, we also have the Tavor. What a great gun. Another fine firearm. So we try to focus on those guns that you're gonna want, we're gonna want, rather than the guns that are gonna sit on the shelf and stare at us for who knows how long. And if you go into some of your local gun stores, that's what you're gonna find. Guns that have been sitting there for years and years and years. One of the new guns that's recently come out is the Kimber Solo in 9mm. Very, very fine gun. Pocket size, so you can put it in your pocket. It's very, very easy to conceal. It's got all the power that you need. 9mm. One of the strongest guns that we had during 2014 was the SIG P320C, the compact version. You notice it comes in FDE and it comes in black, and we can also get them in OD green as well. Very, very, very nice gun. Comes in full size, compact, and a subcompact. 9mm, 40, 45. Being kind of old school, I'm also into revolvers a little bit, and we find that we have a pretty good following with those. Smith & Wesson, again, your 357s are really difficult to find these days. But for someone who wants something fast, quick, and light, easy to operate, somebody who doesn't shoot every day, man, a revolver, a wheel gun, the old school stuff is sometimes the way to go. It goes bang just about every time. If you're worried about the number of rounds that a particular revolver might carry, you might even look at something like this Taurus here that carries 7 rounds. 7 rounds, that's more than many of your semi-automatics. Oh, here we go. This is one that I'm sure you're all familiar with. If you're a gun guy, I know you're familiar with it. This is F&H's 5.7x2.8. The 5.7. Wow. Beautiful gun. Nice Picatinny rail. 320 round magazines. Hard to get, but you know what? American Patriot can do it for you. And while we're talking about the FN line, I'd like to also let you know that we're a law enforcement authorized dealer for F&H. We love their products. They have a great product line. Law enforcement, military, and first responders get that discount. And you save a bunch if you're in one of those categories. The PS90 that I showed you a little bit earlier, same thing. Glock is a staple. It's a staple gun that you've got to carry. Why? A Glock is one of those guns that's reliable, it's dependable, it's easy to break down. Seldom does anything go wrong with a Glock. And if you will, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of take a look at what we do carry. You'll notice that not only do we carry your standard Glocks, but we also carry the FDE, which is Ellipses exclusive, and the gray frame, which is also Ellipses exclusive. And what that means is there's only one distributor that can carry those firearms. And obviously we have a very, very good relationship with them. And that, when we have a good relationship with them, it's good for you because we get what you need. One of the last line of firearms that I want to talk about is probably one of the nearest and dearest to my heart, and that's the AR line of rifles, the AR-15, the AR-10. And as I talked to you about our philosophy earlier, you might recall that I said that what we want to do is stock our store with those guns that we want in our collection if something was ever to go bad. Sometime back, we associated ourselves with a company called Civilian Force Arms. Maybe you've never heard of them. They're a relatively new company, been around just a couple, 3 years. It is owned and operated by a disabled veteran named Jonas Hagos. Jonas, his story is very, very unusual. In fact, it's the true American dream. It's the true American hero story. Jonas came to the United States from the Sudan when he was 10 years old. He'd spent most of his life in refugee camp. Right after 9/11, decided that he needed to give something back to his country. And so he joined the army. Ended up going to Iraq, and in 2004, Jonas was hurt very, very bad when an RPG exploded right next to his head. A disabled veteran, he leaves the army, and he refuses to let it get him down. He gets involved with veterans organizations, volunteer organizations. Then he goes out and he says he decided he was going to live the American dream. Went out and bought a couple of Dunkin' Donuts and started those. But he wanted to get back to his roots, and the thing that was so important to Jonas was building ARs. He loved them. He loved AR-15 rifles. He loved AR-10 rifles. So he started a little business out of his basement, and we hooked up with him. Our first thought was, hey, we've never heard of Civilian Force Arms. I like your story, I heard your story, I read about your story, you're in Parade magazine. Hey, that's enough for me. But I still have to be able to sell your gun and feel good about it. So we asked Jonas to send us 3 of his rifles. And when he did, we were shocked at the quality. For the price point that they're selling these rifles at, you couldn't get anywhere close to it. They are several $100s less expensive than anyone else. And the nice thing about them is that they're still small enough where we can customize everything that you want done to that gun. Whether you want it black, or whether you want it OD green, or whether you want it FDE. You want a 3-pound trigger in it, we're going to give you that 3-pound trigger. Civilian Force Arms has become a huge partner of ours, even though, as time has gone on, they've hit the big time. Some of you may be familiar with Hickok 45. He did a review on their rifles here a while back, and it's totally changed the complexion of who Civilian Force Arms is. They've also been contacted by the military channel, and they've done some things with them as well. And so they've actually had to move into a huge facility in Illinois where they're building their AR-15s and AR-10s. But we still have a strong relationship to them. Jonas will be down here in Southeast Georgia the week of the 27th of July. We're really, really looking forward to his business. And we're going to do some videos for all of y'all to see. He's going to come out. But enough talk about that. Let me introduce you now to one of his rifles. Our primary line that we carry is the Xena 15 Gen 4. This particular gun, he has done some customization on it for American Patriot. One of the things that we asked him to do with the Gen 4 Xena 15 was to give it a little bit longer quad rail. We also asked for a fluted barrel. For those of you who know about AR-15s, you know that will normally cool the rifle better, and it will also make it a little bit more accurate as a result. I'd like to also point out that unlike so many of his competitors, Jonas actually goes on and he puts some quality parts on his guns, like the flip-up sights. Most of his competitors, you see their mid-level guns and it comes to you bare. He's putting flip-up sights on the gun. On this particular one, we asked him to put a 3-pound trigger on it. The stocks on these are not your typical stock that you would see. This is called a minimalist stock. It's Very, very, very comfortable. I can't emphasize how much more comfortable this is than your average stock that you get on an AR-15 under $1,000. Also, you'll notice that nice pistol grip on the firearm. It's just a top-notch firearm, and he doesn't stop there. Not only does he do all of that, but he includes a Plano hard case that the firearm goes in. And he includes 2 magazines, and that not just some type of generic magazine. He gives you 2 30-round PMags. I mean, you just don't see that very often. Now, what can I tell you about this gun? This is not their bottom-of-the-line rifle. This is the one that we like to carry. And the nice thing is, you were out the door with this gun for less than $800. $769 is our cost on this gun. And you just cannot touch that, not with this type of quality, not with a Plano hard case, not with 2 magazines and already having it set up with your flip-up sights. He also does quality work with his AR-10s, and he has several different ARs for you to look at. So I would highly recommend that you go out to their website, take a look at the different firearms they have out there. It's civilianforcearms.com. You're going to see some prices out there. Don't pay any attention to those. Those are MSRP. We can beat those prices for you, and we're going to do it. We're going to cut you a deal on these guns, and you're going to be ecstatic when you feel these. You're going to be even more ecstatic when you get it to the range and you watch what it does. All of their rifles are built by combat seasoned veterans. No one is allowed to touch one of their rifles unless they're a combat veteran. That means that the people working on those rifles have the experience and the knowledge to know what you need and what I need to give us a quality rifle. Let's talk a little bit about our logo, American Patriot Guns and Ammo. Where did we get that name? Why did we come up with it? Well, in addition to being law enforcement most of my life, I'm also a retired Air Force, and if there's anything that our family is, we are patriots. We are true patriots. And what we wanted to do was capture an image and capture a name that would identify us with what we wish the rest of the American public was. And that is American Patriot. We want to be patriots. We want to make sure that we treat you, our customers, as patriots. I hope that you found this introduction to American Patriot Guns and Ammo helpful. We hope that you give us the opportunity to share with you, to work with you, and to provide you your firearms needs, because we want to be your go-to dealer. Before we leave, I just wanted to leave you with a little information about how to get a hold of us in case you want to become a part of our community. If you'll send me a friend request to Bob Bruton, B-R-U-T-O-N. Hook up with me on Facebook and I'll add you to our secret page. We've made it secret to try to keep out some of the riffraff, and if you don't live in Georgia, don't worry about it. We can still ship to an FFL of your choice right near your home and still save you a bunch of money. You're still going to have to go through the background check, but it's still going to save you a lot of money. You can also go out to our webpage, which doesn't have the deals that the Facebook page has on it, but you can go out there, look at the page. There's also a link there to my personal Facebook page, and our webpage address is patriotgunsammo.com. Until next time, stay safe and God bless.